Hello everyone. So this is chapter 8 from my contemporary romance novel Under a Namibian Sky. Naomi couldn't keep the smile off her face the next morning, no matter how hard she tried, and despite the severe talking to she'd given herself. Her heart was singing, her soul extraordinarily happy. Her mind had other ideas, however. It was doing its best to bring her down. It insisted on reminding her that Luca was a prince. He was the Amati prince. Why would he want anything other than a vacation fling with her? It was a first for her, and she wasn't sure what to do about it. One thing was for sure. She'd never imagined she'd be having a vacation fling with anyone, much less with a man like Luca. No doubt he'd chosen her as they'd been spending so much time together anyway. Was she capable of having a vacation fling? She'd never done anything like this before. Oh hell, why not? If Kerry knew, she'd only encourage Naomi. She was young, she deserved some fun. Naomi couldn't get the previous evening's events out of her head. She'd had the most fantastic evening with the most gorgeous man she'd ever met. That he was kind and considerate was a bonus. Kerry was wrong for once. Not all men were the same. Luca didn't invite her for dinner only so he could have sex with her. Yes, she'd never been kissed like that before, but if she hadn't stopped it, who knows where it might have led. But Luca had remained a gentleman throughout their date. Was it a date? She had to get a grip. Luca would be gone again in a few days. She liked him, but she barely knew him. It wasn't as though she'd given her heart to the man, was it? No, it would remain safe behind the iron doors she had created for it. It was enough that Auntie Elsa and Kerry lived there. A horrible coldness gripped her suddenly at the knowledge that one day death would tear them from her. Her thoughts were so filled with Luca and guarding her heart that she had to check and recheck the truck several times. The kitchen staff knew the drill and had carefully packed the breakfast goodies in the back. Naomi made sure the walkie-talkie had been charged before she walked into the guest lounge to meet Luca and Santina. Only Santina sat in one of the big armchairs, a cup of steaming coffee in her hand. A big smile lit up her face when she saw Naomi. "Buongiorno, Naomi. I'm so excited about our sunrise safari. Shall we go?" Santina exchanged the coffee cup for her floppy sun hat she draped over the small table next to the chair. Naomi returned Santina's smile and walked further into the room. "Should we wait here for Luca, or will he meet us at the truck?" "Oh no, cara. Today it's just you and me. Luca left very early with the anti-poaching unit." Naomi struggled to keep a professional attitude. It was even harder to keep the smile on her face. Her heart beat suddenly very fast, and she had to fight the feeling of disorientation that threatened to overwhelm her. Even to her ears, her voice sounded strained and immediately despondent. "Oh, Luca didn't say anything about it last night." Santina got up. Her voice sounded musical and soothing when she responded. "I don't think he knew then. I only found his note under my door this morning when I woke up. Apparently he went to the kitchen for something to ease a headache. There he found Otayan and members of the anti-poaching unit. They were discussing tactics. He decided to join them. Don't worry, Naomi. Luca will be safe with them, I'm sure." Santina must have picked up on Naomi's change in mood and interpreted as a mere concern for one of her guests. Naomi was grateful Santina suspected nothing more. She tried her best to sound normal and professional. "You're right. Luca will be safe with Otayan. Let's go and have some fun. Chef has prepared your favourite breakfast." The women walked to the truck. After Naomi had helped Santina up into the seat beside her, she got into the driver's seat, started the truck, and drove through the gate that took them into the Namib desert. Santina kept up her running commentary on everything she saw. Although Naomi did her best to respond and point out anything of interest that Santina might have missed, her heart wasn't in the safari. Her thoughts were with Luca. Why had he gone off like that without telling her? Was it a way of avoiding her this morning? Was he regretting what had happened between them last night? But in her mind's eye she saw his face as he waved her good night, the intensity in his eyes. She felt his kisses and his hands on her body again. Was it all a lie? Her heart and her head were at war. Even the stunning sunrise over the dunes couldn't distract her from her thoughts. But she noticed Santina's questioning glances in her direction. Naomi knew she had to do better. She was being silly. Luca would most likely explain himself later, and it would be something simple. Either that, or she was right about the notion that she was just a bit of vacation fun for him. Damn, she was unused to feeling this way about a guy. Why did it have to be Luca of all people? Oh well, it was what it was. Better to just get on with her life. Santina was easy to talk to. As they were having their breakfast against the backdrop of a particularly beautiful sunrise, they chatted about the desert, about life in Namibia, life in Italy, travelling, and every subject that cropped up so easily. But neither mentioned Luca. Naomi was acutely aware of it and wondered why Santina said nothing. Suddenly it dawned on her that Luca was Santina's boss. She seemed very loyal to him. Naomi could see it would be foolish of Santina to discuss him with anyone. Naomi almost sighed out loud. It was good to know Santina wasn't deliberately keeping anything about Luca from her. Naomi knew she simply had to stop obsessing about him and get on with life. Luca clearly did. The safari went without a hitch. Santina seemed to enjoy the drive into the desert. She commented excitedly about the sunrise over the dunes and the early morning animals they encountered. Naomi couldn't blame Santina. The desert was unfailingly spectacular. Naomi tried, as she always did, to see it for the first time through someone else's eyes. It was a joy to experience their wonder and awe of it anew each time. It was particularly pleasant to share it with someone as warm and tender-hearted as Santina. Luca was still not back by the time they returned to the lodge. But Santina didn't seem to be worried. Naomi took her cue from Santina, and knowing Luca would be safe as he could be with Otayan and the guards. She could just imagine him walking behind them, camera at the ready. Auntie Elsa came to join them for morning tea in the Lapa. Santina and Auntie Elsa had become fast friends in the short time they'd known each other, and talked like old confidants. Naomi, not wanting to be in the way, made herself scarce and called the elephant orphanage to check on Ellie Naomi. To her delight, Johan confirmed that the baby was doing well and invited Naomi around to see for herself. It was the perfect excuse to get away from the lodge for a few hours. When Santina confirmed she wouldn't need Naomi, as she just wanted to relax by the pool, Naomi jumped into the truck. The elephant orphanage was about an hour's drive away, and Naomi arrived just in time for the Ellie's feed. Johan's booming voice greeted Naomi the moment she stepped from her truck. He filled her in on the Ellie's night and accompanied Naomi to where the Ellie's surrogate father was feeding her with a bottle. Johan laid a gentle, comforting hand on the Ellie's back. "She's much better, but cried throughout the night for her mother." The little Ellie had been given her very own surrogate father. Typically, he was one of the younger guards with the anti-poacher unit here, who slept with her in her stable, fed her, and played with her. It was a delight to see how much the little Ellie had improved since yesterday. It was almost miraculous. Her surrogate father had somehow got her to suck at the teat of the large bottle containing a special formula for her maximum nutrition. Now baby Naomi eagerly sucked at the milk in the bottle, foam forming at the corners of her mouth, her little trunk curling this way and that as she emitted tiny sounds of pleasure. Naomi wished she could feed the little elephant, touch her and hug her, but it was too soon. Baby Naomi first had to get used to and comfortable with her surrogate father before she could meet more people in such an intimate way. Johann showed Naomi the other orphaned Ellies, who were older, more settled, and who seemed happier. Johann's huge smile showed his fondness and enormous pride in his baby elephants. There was such gentleness in the big man's voice that it brought a tear to Naomi's eye. Little Naomi will join this group when she's much better and a little older. This little herd will be her new forever family. When Johann invited Naomi to join him and the surrogate fathers for lunch, she eagerly accepted. A simple meal of barbecued kudu steak and mealie pup awaited them on the veranda of the big old house that also served as the orphanage's headquarters. It was the perfect place from which to observe the Ellies. They frolicked with a massive ball and splashed around in their very own mud bath. Their comical antics elicited laughter and joy from everyone there and did much to lift Naomi's spirit. She hummed a happy tune as she drove back to Desert Lodge after the lunch. It was good to see the Ellies and to see how well Johann and his team were looking after baby Naomi. The little elephant would be all right. One good thing to come out of the tragedy that had befallen her the previous day. Didn't Naomi know exactly what it felt like to lose a parent at such a young age? She'd been older than this little Ellie when everything in her world had collapsed. The memory was seared into her brain, as it would be for the baby elephant. Back at Desert Lodge, there was still no sign of Luca, or Otayan, or any member of the Desert Lodge anti-poacher unit. Naomi had to resist the temptation to contact Otayan via walkie-talkie. It would be out of character for her to do so, and might alert Luca to her paranoid feeling that he was avoiding her. No, he'd be all right with Otayan. The old Herero man had never once lost a guest before. But then again, none had ever gone along on an anti-poacher patrol. Naomi gave herself another stern talking to for the second time that day as she walked to her room. The day had reached its peak heat. Everyone was sitting in the shade or had sought their bed for the afternoon's siesta. The shrill sound of the cicadas and the soft, comforting cooing of doves mingled to further lull the day into a state of lethargy. In her room, Naomi picked up the book she'd started to read before Luca had appeared and caused such chaos with her emotions. She plopped down on her bed. Thank you very much for listening, for watching, for liking and sharing my videos, and thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. Until next time.